is Jennifer Reed, and I'm the new incoming editor of the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs. And I am delighted and honored at this opportunity, and I'm really excited to see what the next several years holds. So I'm a clinical psychologist by training. I got my degree at the University of Rhode Island, and then I did my postdoctoral work at the Center for Alcohol and Addiction Studies at Brown University. As a clinical psychologist, I have expertise in both the research aspect of substance use behavior, but also the applied aspect in terms of how it affects people. And I guess what brought me into the field of substance use is that substance use really touches on every aspect of the human experience. You see it in history, religion, politics. It's about emotion, it's about relationships, it's about biology. And that, I think, was the thing that first fascinated me about substance use behavior, and that really has kept me interested in it. Even now, 25, 30 years later, I think, like a lot of people, the journal has been a mainstay for me professionally. I published one of my first papers in JSAD back when I was a graduate student. And over the years, it has just been like a go-to journal for both the dissemination of my own work, but also reading about what other people are doing. And so when the position became available, I saw an opportunity to be the steward of something that's been an important force in the field. At the same time, the field is changing and the world is changing. And I also saw an opportunity to be a part of that change and how the journal is representing substance use research in this changing world and during these changing times, and that seemed really exciting to me. My broad vision for the journal is that the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs is the place that people think of going to learn about, read about, publish their research in contemporary topics pertaining to substance use. I want people to think about what is going on now in the field. JSAD is where I want to publish that. And an advantage of this journal is that it is a multidimensional journal, multidisciplinary journal, and so that really allows us to cover a broad range of topics on the subject of substance use. And so I'd like us to really take full advantage of that. And so I want people to think of this as being one of the major outlets that is covering contemporary issues pertaining to substance use and substance use research. The other thing I'd really like to do more is engage early career investigators. And so something that I'm going to actively work to do is to build an early career dimension of our editorial team so that we're not only shaping the future of substance use research, but also hearing new perspectives from people who are just coming up in the field and helping that to shape our vision as we're working toward this new way of editing the journal. Technology will continue to evolve, and we will continue to have more and more ways of understanding substance use patterns and substance use behaviors. And I think that is definitely, technology is changing more and more rapidly. And so I think the field will reflect that. I think it's something else that is really important is that we're beginning to see different routes of administration and different kinds of substances. So I think there's going to be more and more research needed on things like vaping and e-cigarettes, edibles. The policies and laws are changing, and the research really hasn't quite caught up to that. So I think those are going to be some really important directions for the future for research in substance behavior. Also, other non-substance behaviors, I think, is going to be a really interesting thing for the journal and for the field to be thinking about. Things like gaming and social media, and how do those fit into our understanding of substance use and problem substance use? Is it the same? Is it different? I think as we continue to integrate technology more and more into our lives, there's going to be more and more opportunities for us to think about our relationship to those kinds of behaviors. It's social justice and equity, and understanding how substance use intersects with things like race, ethnicity, social class, gender, all of the different intersecting identities that really are unique for each person in terms of how they understand substance use, how laws and policies affect them, how they are affected by those laws and policies. And that is a hugely important area of research, and one that I think the field has tremendous responsibility to be covering and considering. And so I think that that's going to be another important trend.